Yo guys, welcome back to another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. So today's video, as promised, we're going to be looking at the new units, going to look at the stats, the skills, what they're good at, what they're bad at, why you may want to summon, why you may not want to summon, and ultimately at the end I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing with these banners. I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. I'm going to give you the evidence and opinion. Well, I say evidence. I'm going to give you my opinion and then let you decide for yourself. If you want a wholehearted should I summon, jump in my Discord or in the comment section, tell me what you're holding, like how much Irish you've got, and I can give you an individual opinion on whether I feel you should summon or not. But overall, a general thing, this is what we're going to be doing. So straight in, let's look at the bell. Overall, WFS like to keep their stats within a specific range, and you know, one way or the other, the stats, it's the damage and the damage output and difference between them, like between the units, is negligible within a certain range, but obviously a little bit different. So the stats are not that well, I don't want to say they're not important, but they are important, but you can expect them to be of the same degree until the next lot of power crept units come out and the stats decide to be increased again. But overall, the Bell's stats are good. He has Ox Killer. There's not really much you can say about the stats. Let's be real, they're good. So we'll go straight into the skills here. He has an Ultra AO. The first thing I noticed is he does have that skill free with Ace as single target, which I love. I hate it when units are restricted to only one game mode. It makes it really frustrating because it takes away from team diversity within the game, and I feel like that's really bad for the game. Like, it's unhealthy. Being able to create new team comps for the game is ultimately one of the things that will probably keep the game, any game, going longer than people expect. Anyway, so the SA is an ultra light physical attack, high penetration rate, temporary great strength boost, and removes status buffs, excluding assist skills. I like it. No percentage modifiers, but it does have extra added utility to the end by removing buffs. Also has the temporary great strength boost modifier, so it probably still will do a bit of damage, but mostly there, I think it's balanced out with the additional utility of removing buffs, and obviously is designed for wargame for the most part. Skill 1 is an AoE mid-light physical attack, ultra uncounter rate, temporary strength boost, light resist minus 40%, self strength and light damage plus 65. Okay, this is a first I've seen, and talking to my guy Kranos in my Discord, who actually gave me a ton of input on these units, really helped towards this video, so thanks Kranos for the help there, man. Being able to debuff resistance to the current optimal level, as well as buff your own strength and light damage in one skill, is so much utility, it's damn near stupid. Skill 2, man, sorry, I just realized not only does he do that, it's also a damaging ability rather than just a buff slash debuff. That's even, it might be mid, but has an ultra uncounter rate with a temporary strength boost, so it's going to be decent. Skill 2 is a fast highlight physical attack, temporary strength boost, removes both physical and magical resist buffs, and has a 30% HP regen. Okay, so for the most part here, it's leaning towards wargame by removing the buffs, but the 30% HP regen for one turn, definitely helpful with survivability in wargame, so cannot knock that. Also, countering stall is just basically, yeah, we need to. People that use stall teams are irritating. Skill 3 is a single target super light physical attack, high critical rate, 50% damage per light resist debuff on self. That gives him a super modifier with a percentage damage ability, so the super modifier plus 100% with both debuffs from himself and an assist. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot, which means he's gonna be good in AoE and single target. And as Kranos informed me, there's only one light unit so far on the EU server, at the very least, that I know of, that has a higher percentage damage modifier on a single target skill 3 super damage modified ability. That was a mouthful, I'm sorry about that. Nothing spectacular in the passives. Overall, I would say he's a good unit. He matches the current level of play, and I can't see a downside if you had the expendable Iris to add him to your pool of light units. But that's not my conclusive opinion. That's just like currently looking at him from what he is now. But we're going to move on to the Zard. Now, Zard's a weird one here. Zard's basically as beastly as you would expect him to be. But he does have balancing drawbacks, which is understandable. His stats, great. Can't complain. Obviously, 2119 as a strength stat. You already know he's going to do damage anyway. So let's just get into the abilities. His SA isn't. Oh, he is a fire type. I mean, everybody knows fire is basically OP, and even in Familiar Rush, I always say to fan members, if you don't have the team or the optimal team, just run fire, because fire basically beats everything. His SA is an AoE Ultra Fire physical attack, great temporary strength boost, and strength for magic minus 50%, self strength plus 100%, and magic resist and physical resist plus 50%. He is a tanky damage dealer. As again, to quote Kranos, he is very much like a new age or a newer version of the Dark Otar, where he's going to be beefy as well as hit out a lot of damage. Skill 1 is an ally's strength plus 40% and fire damage plus 50%. Currently, I think the highest one we have is 60%, but being able to boost a whole team's strength and fire in one skill obviously needed to be balanced out, but that's still great. And then on top of that, he gets 3 additional actions of mid damage. Mid, which means usually, I think these are the first units to have mid damaging additional attacks. Usually it's been low, which means even his additionals are gonna hit exceptionally hard. Skill 2 is an AoE slow high fire physical attack, temporary great strength boost, AoE damage taken plus 35%. So there you go. Immediately there is a reason to summon, to at least try and get him as a sack unit for that 35% additional AoE damage for your AoE 7th zones or anything like that. 35% additional damage taken from AoE. Love it. Skill 3 is another AoE. Okay, so here's what I was saying, that he's balanced out. He's sort of relegated to AoE only unless he's being used as a sack unit for his skill 2 or his skill 1. Sadly, again, like I said, I don't like that they do this to units. Like, they basically specialize them entirely. But then, to be fair, they do the same. I was gonna laugh at the word "do" there. I'm not an adult, honestly. They do the same to Record Buster units that are entirely single target. So I really shouldn't complain, because I feel like I would be hypocritical, because I love those units. Skill 3 is an AoE super fire physical attack, temporary strength boost and extends status debuffs by 1 turn with a 50% taunt. Okay, so he has a super modifier with a temporary strength boost on the end. This is literally going to just hit hard regardless, and then extends debuffs as well. There's utility plus the damage. Couple this with his stats and his built-in buffs and everything. I'm pretty sure all you need to make this guy like the ultimate AoE fire killing machine is just a fire resist debuff. And if you have Fire Alice from last anniversary, you pretty much got it. But then there's more interesting things to him. For example, if you come over here, he heals from his counters based on 60% of the damage he inflicts with the counter, and also inflicts a minus 45% strength debuff. Sorry, I forgot the word. I drew a blank. For 2 turns. Now, in Wargame, considering he's AoE only, he's going to be really prevalent in Wargame if people summon for him. 45% strength debuff, like literally he's going to be doing damage, but then turning himself into a tank as well by debuffing you and buffing his own defenses. He's going to be nigh unkillable because he heals with counters as well. So imagine he debuffs your strength, heals himself, and already has physical resist and magic resist added on, like with his SA. Stupid. He's a great unit. Like, he is a good unit. Don't get me wrong. He is a power creep unit. He is power crept. What we expected thus far from the current units, with some additional features. But this is what WFS does. The question is that enough? Or is that reason enough to try and go all in and summon for him? But we'll discuss that we're going to look at the Alfia. So again, the stats are great. They are what you expect they would be. They're not like old units that have received a buff that they intentionally make subpar still. her stats are just as good as the others. So we're going to move on to the abilities, because that's all that anyone really cares about anyway. So the SA is an AoE ultra light magic attack, ultra penetration rate and temporary great magic boost with a 50% seal. Cool. Utility plus damage. Skill 1 is a self slow light damage plus 100%. That's a 100% buff there. For 3 turns, allies counter rate and guard rate plus 40% for 5 turns, 3 additional actions of mid light damage. So it's a self buff, and she does have an AoE and single target, so she can use this buff of 100% light damage. Man, that's nothing to snicker at. That's a lot. Like, that's a lot. Now that's a lot of damage. I don't know why that popped in my head, but it's just like, you know. Anyway, so cringe. Skill 2, sorry, I do need to mention she does have another like additional action of a mid AoE mid light magic attack, so even her additionals will do more damage than the current units that we're used to, given that those modifiers are low, not mid. Skill 2 is an AoE high light magic attack, temporary magic boost, magic resist minus 35%, allies magic plus 40%. So she technically buffs her own light and magic. I'm pretty sure we can get a higher light, a higher magic buff currently somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. However, minus 35% magic resist for 3 turns is definitely helpful. And then finally, skill 3 is a super light magic attack, temporary great magic boost. It's going to hurt. There's no percentage modifier on here, simply because she gives herself 100% light damage, and we can already buff her magic above 40%. If you slap a Haruhime, SA buff on there, she's got 100% magic and 100% light damage. Crazy. If you added a percentage modifier on there of like 60%, she would just be nuking everything. But coming over to her passives, it's again the same new passive. When countering, add one magic nullification, so she can nullify 1 magic attack, excluding an SA, and remove target magic buffs. So she removes buffs. Craziness. Has an additional plus 60% on counter damage. Dude, honestly, she's gonna do a lot of damage. There's no getting around that. She's gonna do a lot of damage, and she's, you know, she has the ability to be used in multiple game modes, given that she has AoE and single target abilities. That says a lot. It's very useful. That is all 3 units. I'm not trying to rush, but like, it's only 3 units and it's only 1 banner. We're coming up to like 12 minutes, I think. Anyway, so what do I think? I think that each and every one of them has at the very least, has the capacity to be a great sack unit. Definitely. But if they would take that away. So yeah, great sack units. They're also at the optimum peak of stats, buffs, debuffs. You know, with the new additions of these crazy passives, they are good units. Good units. The problem here lies that 1, it is pre-anniversary. It's part 1 of pre-anniversary, might I add. So there will probably be a second banner just for the pre-anniversary, and that is even before anniversary. So, and I know, like, we've been saying this for ages, save for anniversary, but with anniversary being so close, and we don't know how long the anniversary celebration is going to go on for, it's very risky to try and summon for these guys right now, especially, I mean, there's so many trap banners coming along the way as well. So will I be summoning? No. Zard is mate, he's a beast. Let me put it that way. He is a beast, and if you get him MLB, he will probably help your wargame team immensely. Alfia, again, a beast, and she will probably help you in multiple game modes. She's probably going to be great for Record Buster if we need her, right? You know, or she's probably going to be great for wargame. They'll both be amazing for 7th zone. And then even the Bell, who in my opinion doesn't shine as greatly as them two, is self-sufficient and has great stats, will probably fit into any team as well. They are time limited, so it gives them a higher value, given that they probably won't be rerun as often or able to be sought after as often once these banners go away. I think since Thunder, Argo, and Thunder, Argo, and Fina came and went, we've had them like 2 or 3 times total. Outside of that, so again, if you're a collector, it adds a whole new layer of depth to whether you want to summon on this banner or not. The issue is they are great units, just like last year with Thunder, Argo, and Fina. However, again, The problem lies that we're so close to anniversary, it may be too risky to try and go all in. Again, I'm going to repeat myself, especially considering this is just part 1. We do not know what the part 2 banner is going to be for, or part 2 banners potentially for the pre-anniversary. Ultimately, I'm going to try and get like 1 copy of whoever. I don't want to go too ham, seeing as I'm kind of broke right now on Iris. I've got like 4,500 Iris currently, before Familiar Rush rewards or anything like that. I'm going to be skipping. I'm going to try and get like I'm going to go and do the guaranteed and see who I get as a sack unit. I'm hoping for Zard, because that 35% additional AoE damage would be amazing. Outside of that, I'm going to be skipping. If you guys have a crazy abundant amount of Iris left over, yeah, cool, go for it. But I feel like the risk versus reward here, potentially, given that we're so close to anniversary, doesn't make sense. But don't let that make you think I'm saying these guys are weak. They are not. They are strong units. Ultimately, the decision is up to you. But these are just my 2 cents. Anyway, guys, that is going to be everything. I hope that helps you come to your own decision. If it does, make sure to drop a like. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Social media links will be in the description. Have an amazing fucking day. I love you, and I'll catch you later.